Welcome to AUC Author Series. In this series of programs, we interview the authors in the Atlanta University Center community and introduce you to their latest published works. This program is produced by Brad Oss and Daniel Lee.
Today's guest will be Dr. Abby Awomolo, Associate Professor of Political Science at Clark Atlanta University. Dr. Awomolo, the author of Owanbi, Yoruba Celebrations of Life, will be discussing her latest book, Wannabe Prez, 10 Life Strategies from President Barack Obama's Journey to the White House.
And welcome to Robert Woodruff Library, Atlanta University Center.
Thank you.
Let's talk about your new book, Wannabe Prez, 10 Life Strategies from President Barack Obama's Journey to the White House. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's talk about this book. I have some questions for you. And my first question will be, if you don't mind, could you please give us an overview of this book? What information is in this book?
The book, Wannabe Prez, 10 Life Strategies from President Barack Obama's Journey to the White House, is essentially about his campaign. It's about what it took for him to make that journey, what it took for him to decide that he was going to run for president, and how the entire campaign evolved. The way I look at it is, that was phenomenal. That was a phenomenal campaign. That was a phenomenal decision that he made to run for office. And there are a lot more takeaways than, oh, now he's in the White House, what is he doing? That each of us could benefit from in our lives. And when I look at the 10 life strategies, I talk about dreaming big. One of the things that happened to him was that he had a big dream. I liken his dream at some point to Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream, that one day his kids will be judged not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. At the same time, when King had that dream and he was voicing out that dream, Barack Obama was maybe 2 years old. Yet, something was born in him at such a young age that he aspired to be president of the United States. But many kids say that, not many follow up. So first, he started with a big dream. And then he went ahead and he showed up. There's a saying that 90% of work is showing up, being there. He showed up and he showed out. Throughout the book, the titles are somewhat in hip-hop lingo, because essentially it's targeted at the youth. It's targeted at capturing the minds of our youth. Show up and show out. Be present for your own party, for instance. And he was there. He showed up 2,000 plus days of campaigning. Rallies, meetings, kiss the baby, hug the grandma, all that drama over and over and over again. If he hadn't done one, if he had missed one, it would have impacted his campaign. The third strategy is walk your talk. Have a game plan. Have a game plan. You need to be able to put down on paper what you're going to do, to strategize. Going against a favored candidate, going against several other candidates that were so much more qualified. He walked into this game a relative unknown. No major backing, no major funding. He had 2 Islamic sounding names. And if we looked at it from any angle, he was bound to fail. Yet he turned this failure into a success. It took a big game plan. And then I talk also about Make It Fresh. Barack Obama could not go within the party confines, within the parameters of the party to win this election, the election he won. He had to go outside. He had to develop his own followers. He had to develop his own apparatus. He had to build from the scratch. And so that's the part I talk about in innovation. Innovation is key to living successfully today. If the parameters that have already been designed do not work for you, you have to create yours that will work for you. And that was what our president did. He created a grassroots support. First, he was the first to brand himself. He created a brand for himself. He created a grassroots support. He campaigned virtually, physically, domestically, and abroad. He campaigned in 50 states, which is unprecedented. So he went way beyond the designed parameters of the party. And that was what gave him the edge. And that's number 4. Number 5, we talk about represent. Integrity is still a must in today's society. We've seen politicians brought down here, there. So many people go into campaign, they run for office, and by the 3rd week, scandals broken, they dropped out of the race. Now, with Obama, what you saw was what you got. It was with wig. In other words, he had nothing to hide. Do you think if he had a mistress somewhere, we wouldn't have known about it? Or if he had some shoddy dealings, we wouldn't have known. Integrity is still key. You need to live out the lives in your home as you would live it in the world. There's nothing you can hide forever. And then I talk about also know your posse. Know the folks that you're running with. Know the people that are on your team. And select the right people. There was that minor skirmish with Reverend Jeremiah, right? And it could have brought his candidacy down, but he had to re-strategize around it. So know the type of people you hang out with, because those people will either contribute to your success or contribute to your downfall. Also, put the haters on mute, which simply means you practice self-control. There will always be people who will love you. There will be those that would hate you. Now, imagine if the first time President Obama had heard Obama, he had taken off his shirt and started punching. Where will we be today? He definitely won't be president. Instead, he shrugged it off. He knew where he was going. When you focus on your destination, you would pay less attention to the distractions, less attention to the side tracking, those that would derail you. And that is putting the haters on mute. You don't need to hear them even if they keep taunting you. Now it's give something back. He started out as a community volunteer. He started out helping register voters for Carol Mosley Brown's campaign. Now, if he hadn't done that, first, he wouldn't be known in those communities. Secondly, it wouldn't have worked for him so much that when he had to register voters for his own campaign, he knew how to do it. So when we talk about volunteering, it's not just for the folks you serve, it also builds your cachet of experience. Finally, we talk about keeping it real. Keep it real. He had many firsts, the president, before he became the first African American president. He was the first black editor of the Harvard Law Review. He was the first black senator in forever from Illinois. If any of those had gotten to his head, he would have stopped short. He would not have reached the presidency. And so many lose their heads once they get a little bit of fame. No, you need to keep it real in order to go further in life. Well, in a nutshell, that's what it is. I think I missed one or two perhaps.
I learned something from you this morning. Dream big.
Yes.
Make it fresh and make it real.
Yes.
Thank you so much. My second question to you will be, why did you write this book? Why? What are the reasons behind this book?
Initially, this book started as a collaboration between my colleagues and I. Actually, what we were trying to do then was analyze the campaign from, I'm a political scientist, so from an academic point of view, we're going to analyze the campaign, find out what worked, what could work also for other such African American candidates, find out what strategies he put in place, and why those strategies are particularly important for minority candidates. But as we met and talked, we got kind of overtaken by other work, and so the meetings dwindled. But the idea never left my mind, and I kept thinking there is more that we can walk away with from this campaign than we are. And so I decided, and I also teach the youth in church. I teach 10 to 12, the age group 10 to 12 years old. And so it started in 2009. The beginning of the year, which was just great to start such a program, was, what would be your greatness? And as I talked to them, the idea solidified in my mind that I should write a book on the lessons I believe they should take away from that campaign. And that's what eventually materialized into this book.
You know, President Obama is the first African American in Washington, D.C. Do you expect other people of color going into politics, to work harder or to work lesser, as Barack Obama broken the barrier for people of color?
When we talk about Obama's candidacy, it's a mixed bag. We could look at it in terms of, yes, it broke one huge barrier. And that is the idea that you could not have a person of color in the White House. The joke runs, it's called the White House for a reason. But him being president has shattered that mindset that it's a preserve of the Caucasians. However, when you look at the innovations that he had to make in order to make his candidacy credible, he ran the longest, along with Hillary Clinton, but that was because she was running against his candidacy, the longest running primary before he could even get to be the candidate of choice for the Democratic Party. He ran long and hard. By this time, McCain was already resting on his laurels, ready for the final big race. And he had to go outside the establishment. Now, what does that mean for people of color? It means you do have to innovate. There are no permanently broken barriers. Besides the fact that, yes, we could have a person of color in the White House. Yes, we could have people of color in high offices in the land. Beyond that, there are no permanently broken barriers to say, well, the Democratic Party or the Republican Party is more receptive to a person of color. I mean, look at the race they're already starting now and the kind of rhetoric going out. Talking about how slavery was good for some folks. I mean, it just tells you that there are people out there that want to make this a one-off. It is for you as a candidate then to make sure that you can replicate. And the strategies that we share in the book, you can read other books by him in the references. Those strategies will work for any candidate, in the sense that as the motto of Clark Atlanta University says, find a way or make one. You have to make your own way. If you can't find it, then you have to make it.